My name is Henku, Krobler, very Afrikaans. Some people know me that I am very Afrikaans, but some people don't. But I'm 100% Afrikaans until I married an English lady, and that made me speak English the whole time. Hey, boy. Growing up in a family that was extremely loving, and my parents always wanted to give their kids an insane upbringing because of the life that they had when they were growing up was super special with family time, and my mom growing up on a farm like in the middle of Middelburg, and my dad growing up in Centurion and never moving from that space like all his life until recently. And they were just always vowed to take us on a lot of adventures. So at a young age, they showed us the whole of South Africa, traveled a lot. My mom took us on like mission trips when we were kids as well, at like 10 to 13 years old. My sister was even younger. So I feel like my story is like those people that feel we don't have much to say because it's so brilliant, and even my relationship with God, or my story with God, seems so mundane, but I guess when I look back, it's quite special and unique. At a very young age, I guess I became very contemplative about life and try to figure out why we're here and what we're all doing and striving towards, and that put in motion a lot of very quick, in succession, God kind of being like, okay, cool, you're giving me an in, I'm gonna use that. So by the age of 14, 15, I realized like I had already this double identity that was driving me towards, I don't know, living a certain way. And at that stage, I chose to be in a school where that was very good with, it gave me a good opportunity to play rugby for them. They chose to pay my school fees if I play rugby for them, and I thought that was going to be my future as a young guy. I realized that as a young white male in South Africa, there was so much pressure placed on us, and from a young age, and saying like, listen, you have to make life work a very certain way so that you can make it in South Africa. And that put a lot of pressure on me as a 14-year-old, and trying to figure out like where the heck am I going to go in life if it's not somewhere with rugby. I started giving everything to be able to make it as a eventually pro rugby player. That was my trajectory, that was my hope, that was my dream, because I didn't know what else I was going to do. And in that process, I really just felt, maybe I heard it somewhere, or I don't think I read it because I wasn't really reading Bible then, but a verse out of Revelation where Jesus is actually speaking to the churches of that day, and he basically just says that he knows their works, and this is kind of coming straight towards me, and he's like, I prefer it if you were hot or cold, but at the moment you're lukewarm, and I don't, seeing that you're lukewarm, I'm gonna spit you out. And that really got me. I don't know why, it just stuck with me, and it became a real presentation of understanding the gospel. And I looked around of how Christianity was kind of playing out, and how our youth and our generations were not really committed to, I guess, living a Christ centered life. And I knew it needed to change for me, and I took God up on the offer of just promising a full life, because at that stage I was really concerned about the future, as a young kid, I felt it was pretty normal, but it seemed like it was pretty abnormal. That I had at such a point that I had this overwhelming fear looming like in the back over me like every day. And at the age of I think at the age of 15 or 16, we went to a massive game, and it's the year that you can go to play for the Blue Bulls, like Craven Week. You play for trials and stuff like that, and that was the year. It was always under 16 and under 18, and that was the year that I would be able to start making a name for myself in that sphere. And that was the second time I had a big injury with regarding rugby, and I broke my collarbone pretty bad, and I had to go for surgery. I was going under narcotics. I'm really upset. My family, I didn't really say goodbye to them properly. I just wanted to get this thing done. I was really in my mind, really concerned with what's going on. And I remembered so clearly as I was going under for narcotics, how I truly believed that I was not going to wake up from that. I felt like in that moment that was the end of Henku. Surely enough, woke up clearly and remember very clearly the feeling I had before that moment and that day, that this exceptional fear that I had looming in the back that I've kind of almost forgot about and didn't really know what it felt like to live without it. It was actually gone. Like it had somehow died with that moment I thought I was going to die. And that started the process of laying down this hope in making it as a professional rugby player, where God really started revealing that he wanted me to be in a different space, and he was taking me on a different journey, removing my hope in rugby and really putting it in him. And I knew that I was being led by God in a different direction. And after kind of making it known that I'm going to go into the surfing world, because at that point I basically found the CSALT program, wanting more out of life, knowing that it's not going to be in the direction where I've always placed my hope, but rather this new hope that was birthed alongside God and him leading the way, not always showing the big picture or the whole thing, but just enough so that I could keep in step with him. And it turned out to lead me to a place called Jeffreys Bay, a little surf town in the Eastern Cape. And basically Steffi, my wife, is someone I met here in Jeffreys Bay, and we got married I was 21 years old, she was 22. In the year 2016 we met. We got engaged a year after we were dating, and got married in 2018. So this year would mark our 5th year anniversary. And man, the amount of friends that I've gained has been exceptional. The community that I've been a part of has been truly enlightening. It's been truly satisfying to live a life that is not focused on our own kingdom, but rather God's kingdom, and abiding in him daily has brought about such a peace that truly surpasses understanding, and a joy that comes from being content with what you have, the limitations of life, and realizing that this world is not really all we have, but that he really wants to work through us. And the only way that it's going to be effective and significant is if we stay in the vine, a daily walk, a daily journey. And it'll keep on producing the fruit that brings joy. And man, it truly has become a life better than I dreamt up for myself as a young boy.